cloud. I'm going to put this on Facebook too. And just set this up here. Meeting. Okay, we're going to call this. Business is dead. Well, I like this. Without. Cloud. Got it. Recording and just let it go live. Here we go. We are live. Hey everybody, my name is Albert Corey, aka the Taxman. Another edition of the Rock Your Bottom podcast. That's right, Rock Your Bottom podcast. Today we're talking about Mr. Matt. Hold on, let me put up bio again. See, Mr. Matt, I am not here it is. Mr. Matt is abused, bullied, school dropout, scrawny little kid who lost his father to suicide. Oh boy. Had PST as a teenager through exposed violence to a world champion bouncer out bouncers. So you're a bouncer and bodyguard? Wow, man. You used to be. Listen, dude, when this guy talks to you, say, yes, sir, gonna kick your butt. Best-selling author, business owner, and course creator. He also has a full-time education, MSc marketing, is showing now how to work a PhD and showing his latest book, How to Be Successful on TikTok. Okay, Matt has a following of 300,000 TikTok viewers, after achieving 2 million viewers, sustained a growth of 100,000. Wow, Matt, you're a TV station, brother. And he's going to show you how to put a pipeline together without expensive ad campaigns. He coaches on storytelling, content creator, short form video, which is what we're going to talk about today. He prides himself on offering the pathways to make your perfect flyer the best they can be. Multiple black belts. Dude, a badass in marketing and video, Mr. Matt. How you say your last name, Matt?
Strait.
Matt Strait. Give a hand for Matt Strait. Yay! Oh, there's your name. Welcome, Matt. Welcome to Rock Your Bottom podcast, where we're showing business owners how to increase their bottom line with less stress. Less stress.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the invite.
Okay. Very cool. Let me ask you a couple of easy questions. How did you get into this? Because it looks like you're an older gent. By the way, he's from UK and I'm from Miami, thanks to wonderful technology. A couple of easy questions. How did you get into this, Mr. Matt?
Yeah, straightforward enough. You're right. I'm not in the first flushes of youth. But essentially what happened was I had my physical business and I started making online courses and things. And I thought, well, how do I get those out to a wider audience? How do I manage to actually sort of speak to people and let them know what it is I offer? And at the time, a few years ago, TikTok was a really exciting sort of place to be. It had a lot of opportunity there. And it was obvious that it was a fast growing platform that had a lot of possibilities if people could get a foothold in the door. And obviously, I'm sure you've heard of a wonderful guy called Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, of course.
He a few years ago, I ended up watching one of his videos late one night as I wasn't sleeping and whatnot. And he was saying about TikTok. And that's what started me down the road. I sort of researched it. I looked into it. I spent a good few months doing nothing but trying to understand the platform before I did a single thing, and then took it from there, really. And it's proved to be a great resource.
can I ask you a stupid question if you don't mind?
Please
Obviously,
do.
and I know this, by the way, you can follow everybody me on TikTok, 1040W2 on TikTok. Here's a crazy question. Obviously, Mr. Matt, since you're an older gent, TikTok is not just little kids dancing, right? TikTok is pretty much a good platform. Can I tell you a quick stat that I found a few weeks but I started doing TikTok about 4 or 5 months ago. Can I tell you a simple stat that you might not know or don't know? Did you know that 30% of TikTok are old fellas, old ladies? 30% of the market are older people who don't dance and sing and do the crazy shit. Sorry. Right or wrong? That small businesses can really kick some butt. Okay.
Yeah. They're now suggesting that sort of globally, the TikTok audience is roughly around 70% over the age of 18. So it isn't just kids twerking anymore. That was how it began when it first formed from Musical.ly. But you've probably noticed I'm one of those guys now that looks far better with my clothes on than off. And so I don't do the silly dancing, I don't do the lip syncing, and I would feel very foolish if I tried. And it just, that wouldn't work.
Okay. Now, my next question is, why is short videos important?
Well, short form video is at the moment recognized as the most popular form of communication on social media. So that in itself gives it a huge credibility. The very fact that that's the most popular version of how we communicate on social media, but also on top of that, and this is where it gets really important for entrepreneurs, business owners, that sort of thing. And that is there's a war going on at the moment for our time, for our involvement. And so the various platforms, they're all vying for our attention. And one of the ways that they're doing that is to create opportunities to share and create short form videos. Now, with the massive success of TikTok, it's made the other platforms take notice. And even what we'd call the old school platforms like Facebook, the ones that have been around for sort of a decade or so, even those now have got their own version of short form videos. And for us, that's really important because we can leverage that. So when we talk about organic reach and we say things like, well, Facebook seems to be strangling that a little bit, pages don't work the way they should, we have to pay to play these days. It's a completely different ballgame with short form video because they want the interaction with that. So they'll actually promote your stuff for you really heavily. As long as you tick the right things and do the right things, they'll do all the heavy lifting. They'll do all the sharing.
And can I give a little comment to that from me?
Yeah.
I can tell you for a fact that hold on. Sorry, my daughter just came in from Australia and she just wanted to say hi.
Okay, yeah.
I'll talk to her in a little bit. She's back. I can tell you for a fact that when I put a little short, on Facebook Facebook Reels, I'm getting on a bad day. It's got to be done right. And I'm going to ask you a couple of tips that on good days, I'm getting 300 views. Now, I don't know about you, Matt, but when you did a regular static post on Facebook, you never got 300 likes and comments, the average small business, correct? Or is it just
on the page? Definitely. Yeah.
So Facebook Reels is really a kind of a way to go. And can I ask you another question people don't get? I know it sounds stupid, but I want you to say it. How much does it cost to make a short? Please tell me the cost. What's it cost? And what kind of fancy tools? Sorry, Matt, I'm trying to drive the point to my clients and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cost and what tools are needed to do a Facebook or any of the short videos?
Well, the biggest and most powerful tool is basically imagination to actually make the content. After that, there's no financial cost per se. You can do it just off your phone as long as you've got a smartphone and internet access, which most people do now. As long as you have that, you can make short form video content. It really is that simple. So
that means it costs zero, correct?
Yeah.
Zip nada, where I talk about how in Rocky Bottom podcast, where you can market your phone, right? Tell me if this is not true. I wrote my second book, Increase Your Bottom Line. while drinking coffee, where I talk about on national stages where you can market your office in less than the time it takes to go to Starbucks, correct?
Yeah.
Because that's how long it would take to take up your phone and say, hi, I want to ask, this is why I'm asking you this, because you're the expert, and I say this, and people are, wow, Albert, you don't know. You know, that's why I'm asking you as the expert, correct? That we can market your business for less than the time it takes for coffee for free, correct?
Yeah. I am all about the organic growth, and I'm all about trying to get the biggest bang for your buck. And so I don't want to be spending thousands of dollars or thousands of pounds on advertising if I can reach that and many more for absolutely free and gratis. And so that's where the power of short form video really is, because if you think about it, you're looking at a 15-second clip maximum, right? And again, from a start point, I would recommend doing a little less than that, because it's all about watch time, keeping their attention, that sort of thing. We can go into that in more detail. But essentially, you're looking at 10 to 15 seconds for a clip. Now, if we say, okay, right, 10 to 15 seconds to film it, if we want to put some graphics on it, a little bit of text or something like that, maybe another 30 seconds, upload it a couple of seconds, under a minute, you've got a piece of content that has the capability to reach millions for no cost whatsoever. That's the power of it, that right there.
Okay. Now, what are give me 3 tips that you can tell us how to make your social media grow. Or sorry, how to make, TikTok or your videos take off. Give me 3 tips.
Okay, well, if we're looking at building, community building, which is probably the best way to go about this, don't think of it as sales, think of it as building a community. Think about building a group of like-minded people, because that way then, that's where the pipelines start to come from, rather than that direct sort of sales approach. So don't look at it like an advert. Don't look at it like a sales pitch. Think about it as building a community, making friends, building relationships. Right? That's a critical point on this. Secondly, I would say, find out who it is you're trying to talk to. Again, a lot of people, they put the cart before the horse. And so they'll start making TikToks or videos or whatever, and they'll start doing that, but they won't actually know who they're speaking to or what they're trying to solve. And that can be quite difficult, because you're just throwing things out there and not all of it's going to stick. Much better to take a little bit of time and figure out who your audience is and how it is you want to talk to them. So once you've got the idea that you're building communities, and then when you've got the idea of who it is you're actually talking to, that's then when you should start think about content. And the way to look at that and make strategies like that is to think about the same as you would building relationships anywhere else. So you want sort of rapport pieces, things that are going to make us understand one another and be friendly towards one another. We're going to want educational pieces. We're going to want to show people what it is we can do, what it is we can offer, what they can do using our products and services. And we want to be able to showcase that and be able to demonstrate, actual results and things that can be achieved. And that's a very simple, straightforward strategy and content planner that can be done. And once you sort of lay that out and framework it, you can start putting in, your days, your weeks, your months. And before you know what's going on, you've got 3 months of content all mapped out for you. You don't have to worry about it, a minute or 2 a day, and that's it, it's done.
And the third point you can teach me.
Well, that would be the content strategy itself, is making sure that you've got a good understanding of the different types of content. So there are lots of different marketers will have lots of different models and things. So I work on a basic 10-point model for the various aspects of content. And then there's another 7 specifically for TikTok. And so we work within that framework. And then what we do then is you just place those, and depending on how many you want to do a day, because that's another question that people ask, how often should I post? And so my answer to that would be as many as you can do consistently. So there's no point in doing 12 for a week and then not doing another one for 3 months. Much better to do 1 or 2 a day consistently and keep it going and build those relationships.
All right, thank you. Those are pretty cool tips. We're going towards the end here. What do you do for fun? What do you like to do when you're not doing TikTok or short form videos?
Oh, I'm really lucky. I tend to live what I do now for fun. I mean, years ago, like a lot of people, I used to work in roles that I wasn't that keen on, but nonetheless, love martial arts, love being out in nature, love writing, love being artistic and creative, love all of those things. And now I get to do that. So I have one of the things that I do is I run a full-time martial arts gym. I make lots of online courses. I write books. I write for various magazines and things and blogs. I do a lot of online coursework, and I coach a lot of people in how to use short form video and how to build communities. And I've just started a PhD study as well. So basically, I tend to, my hobbies have bled into my life, and I do the things that I enjoy doing now. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that for the most part.
Okay, that's the question. Android on your phone, Android or Apple?
It's iPhone. Yeah, I've never owned an Android phone. I've no idea how one would work.
Mac or PC for your computer?
I've got a PC at the moment. Yeah, I keep thinking I should change, but then I keep thinking, for the same reason that I've never tried an Android, how hard that would be to actually change over and learn all the new ways of doing things.
All right, now we're coming to the end of the show. First of all, I'd like to have you thank you for showing up.
My pleasure.
Okay, what's some parting words you can tell us? Just one good tip to almost end the show. What's the one good tip you want us to remember about this time together?
I would say that creating short form video is basically a library that can be found, can be searched, can be used, and it's evergreen. It will be there forevermore. So if you haven't started doing that yet, I would say start doing it. Start creating that content, because that backlog of content will come back and pay you tenfold. I mean, I'm still getting people contacting me from things I did 4 or 5 years ago.
And my last point, as a thank you for coming on, how can we get a hold of you as a thank you for you coming on?
Well, the usual channels. So you can find me on all the social medias under Matt Strait, or you can check out my website, which is www.differentthink.co.uk.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. This is Rocky Bottom Podcast from the Taxman. Like I always say, sharing is caring, and we will talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye. And stop recording.